Welcome back for a new top 10 list. We are this time looking at top 10 best, at least in my perspective, top 10 best rares from the set Zendikar. Original Zendikar, that is, from 2009. Hard to believe, it's been 16 years. First up, we have two honorable mentions. First up, with a Spectre. Costs 4 to bring out. It's a 2-2. And has flying. Also, Spectre gets +3/+3 as long as an opponent has no cards in hand. Whenever Spectre deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card. That's where it's actually good. It can be used in a meal type deck. Now, unfortunately, the +3/+3 is not going to happen too often unless you can figure out somebody. But then again, given it can make an opponent discard a card, chance to activate the air ability. Still, an honorable mention. I do like it for certain purposes. Other honorable mention, arguably some of the most sick art, in my opinion, was from the original Zendikar block. But this one, Fireheart, costs 4 to bring out. It's a 4/4 mythic rare. Elemental. If you pay 3 additional mana, put a blaze counter on target land without blaze counter on it. As long as the land has a blaze counter on it, it has, at the beginning of your upkeep, this land deals 1 damage to you. The land continues to burn after Obsidian Fireheart has left the battlefield. Coming in at number 10 is another elemental, but this time blue. At 10, we have a special elemental, which is a cool ability. Also, amazing artwork. Costs 6 total to bring out. It's a 3/2 with flying. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may gain control of target creature for as long as you control this card. So, nice little ability. I think can be quite useful in certain types of decks. Coming at number 9. One of my all-time favorites, Angels. Costs total 9 to bring out, so it's a very pricey Angel card. It's a 7/7. With flying, obviously. Whenever this card enters the battlefield, choose a color. Your opponent can't cast spells of the chosen color. So, very nice ability. Now, if your opponent uses a multicolor deck, then not quite as useful, but if you stick to one basic color for the most part, this card is going to make things a lot harder on you. Coming in at number 8. Hellkite Charger. Costs 6 to bring out, 5/5. Flying and haste is a nice part. Also, whenever Hellkite Charger attacks, you may pay 7 mana. If you do, untap all attacking creatures. And after this phase, there is an additional combat phase. That little ability alone can do a lot of damage, especially if you're playing with, say, a dragon deck. Hellkite Charger definitely is a very useful card, especially in dragon decks as well as also burn decks and things. But I think the haste really does help make things a lot better. Next up, we come number 7. A pretty cool elf card. A bit pricier than most elves. At 5 mana to bring out, it's a 2/2. However, whenever Ranger Whenever this Ranger or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Turn Timber Ranger. So a nice little ability and can be quite useful in an elf deck. Does have its drawbacks, but still very useful in a depending on your strategy. Coming in at number 6 is Halo Hunter. Probably one of the only demons I've ever used in a deck. But Halo Hunter costs, of course, 5 to bring out. It's a 6/3. Has Intimidate. This creature can't be blocked except by artifact creatures or creatures that share a color with it. When Halo Hunter enters the battlefield, destroy target angel. That is a big thing. If your opponent uses any sort of angel cards, definitely Halo Hunter could be quite useful in a tight spot. Coming in next at number 5. An old-time classic. Costs sorcery, that is. Costs 4 to bring out. Rite of Replication. Costs 5 to use the kicker. You may pay an additional 5 as you cast this spell. Put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of target creature. If Rite of Replication was kicked, put 5 of those tokens onto the battlefield instead. Very useful. Especially if you're using, like, say, a Merfolk deck or something, this can be quite useful, or in a meal deck, depending on what your playstyle is. Coming in at number 4 is an all-time classic artifact I have a real love for, as it's always been one of the top artifacts I've used in my vampire decks. Costs 1 to bring out. Blade of the Blood Chief is a superb, great artifact for a vampire deck, but costs 1 to bring out, 1 to equip. Whenever a creature is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on equipped creature. If equipped creature is a vampire, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it instead. So you see why I love this card so much, and why I love to use it in vampire decks. Coming in at number 3 is a definitely all-time classic vampire. Blood Witch. Costs 5 to bring out. It's a 4/4. Vampire Shaman. Flying, protection from white. Whenever Blood Chief enters the battlefield, each opponent loses life equal to the number of vampires you control. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. So as you can see, this especially would be quite useful in commander decks. I mean, it's okay in standard, but commander is where I feel like a format where this card would shine a lot more. Coming in at number 2. One of the best cards to use in a core deck. Yes, I love this one. Yeah, it's kind of pricey. Costs 5 mana to bring out. Plus there's the kicker cost of 6 additional mana. Put 6 1/1 white core soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield. If this was kicked, put 12 1/1 core soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield instead. So in total, it would cost you 11 mana, but if you have 11 mana, boom, 11 1/1 tokens. Or, sorry, 12 1/1 tokens. So you can see why I love this card so much. Very good in a core strategy. Coming at number 1. One of the coolest blue cards arguably out of this era of Magic. Costing 5 to bring out. Archive Trap, an instant trap. If an opponent searched his or her library this turn, you may pay 0 rather than pay Archive Trap's mana cost. Target opponent puts the top 13 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. So yeah, that's where this really shines. 5 mana given its ability is not a bad price, but if you can activate its special ability and end up paying 0 mana for the cost, yeah, this can do some serious mill damage. Let's say it's a shining card, in my opinion, for any mill deck, along with cards like Mana Drain. But with that said, that is it this time for top 10 favorites. Give me your thoughts. What is your opinions overall on original Zendikar? Leave a comment below and give me your thoughts. With that said, I'll see you all next time. Music in the background, by the way, is from Oakvale in Fable. See you again soon.